Hi everyone, good morning. I hope you're able to hear me.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Very good morning. So today I'm going to take you through two very important interview questions I just wanted to cover because some people not yet completed data ingestion for Microsoft Fabric. So most probably for next weekend I'm going to take how we can do data processing with the medallion architecture in Microsoft Fabric. Okay, so by the time everyone should complete a data ingestion from Microsoft Fabric. Okay, so if you can do, then only can understand it. If you don't do it, then definitely I'm sure you're going to lose it. Okay, so there is a performance tuning questions. There is a more and more chances to face. Did you come across anywhere or what is that particular kind of item? They may ask it. So in
Yes,
that
they
case,
are thinking about this. Yes,
you're getting my point, right? You're able to hear me, right?
yes.
Yeah. So in that case, at least if we can talk a few points, then that is going to help us. At least 2 to 3 minutes, at least 5 minutes. Okay, max at least 2 to 5 minutes or 3 to 5 minutes. If we can spend with the performance tuning, if they ask, then that is going to really helpful for clearing the interviews. Okay, so we have it. Three things. One is a broadcast join. Okay, and we have a persistence and cache. Cache is there. You can use this function also. I mean, what do you mean by cache and partition by and Z-ORDER. Okay, so like this, I'm just taking three things here. Presently, I'm going to cover these two, partition by and Z-ORDER. Okay, so before doing a data aggregation, before doing a data joining, I always recommend you to do data grouping. That also we talked about it to reduce the size of the data. So at the time of doing a data aggregation, I explained before doing a data combining, we always recommend you to reduce the size of the data. Okay, so that is very important. And there is a one more term is there. I'll talk about it. Okay, so three things I'm going to cover as part of this. Pruning is there. What do you mean by pruning and how can you use that? Let me start my cluster. In order to do this exercise, you need to have a cluster. And I'm going to use the Unity catalog. If you don't have a Unity catalog, then you cannot do this practice. With the Databricks free edition, you cannot do it. And the same thing you can also do with the Microsoft Fabric also it is possible. But as I'm having Unity catalog, I'm just going to use the Unity catalog and Azure Databricks. Okay, so let it start by the time. Let me talk about what do you mean by partition by. So partition by is there in a Spark. So partition by is there in a Spark. So since it is there in a Spark, you can see it in a Azure Databricks generally, and you can also see it in a Fabric notebooks, and you can also see in a Synapse notebooks. Okay, so this is how it is going to be there. Okay, so if you know at one place, then using in other places is more or less same. 99% is same. At least I can say 95% is very much similar. Okay, so when we can use this partition by is, the partition by is useful for downstream systems. Partition by is useful for downstream systems. Who is going to be downstream system? Your reporting system is a downstream system, right? A reporting team or data scientists. Okay, so data scientists maybe. Okay, so whoever is going to read the data from the table, I have a table. I have a table. If I keep all the data at one place, then you have to read all the data. Let's say, for example, I'm going to say select star from table name because it is a delta table only. Select star from table name. So then it is going to read all the data. If you need all the data, then there is no way you have to go it. But 99% is you don't take the data, you don't take all the data from the table. You're always going to use the where. You're always going to use the where class. So in that case, if you are using this where class, then how you're going to read the data? Are we going to read the data from the table, from the entire table? And one more thing is when you feed the data in the table, you may not have all the data in a single file. 100% you're not going to have a data in a single file. You'll be having a multiple part files like part1 dot parquet, part2 dot parquet, something like this. Okay, so this may be having one month data, and here it will be having 1 month data, and other file is having 1 month data, like something like this. It is having it. So I wanted to read the data from the December. Let's take an example. I wanted to read the data from December. Okay, if you don't have this partition by, if you don't have a partition on the table, partition by means you are going to create a partition on the table. So this part is part file 1. You just imagine this part is file 2. This part is something like this. Just imagine December is there here. When I say select star from table where month equal to December, then it will not read the data from all the files. It will read the data from the appropriate file. It is going to read the data from the appropriate file. So that means it improves the reading performance. When you read the data from the source or when you read the data from the table, it is going to improve the performance of the table when you have a partition on the table. You are creating a partitions. Is everyone following with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, it means partition by asked by downstream team. It means we have to connect with downstream team how they will ask, and that basis we
No,
will
no,
do
no.
partition by.
It's not like that. You are going to understand it, right?
Yes. Okay.
We are the creators. Okay, so we can
Yes.
understand that depends on the size of the table, we can do partitioning. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so
But
okay,
yes, on which basis we going to do partition? That point I am asking.
99% is you're going to do with the date.
Okay, date.
You can say date by directly. In my
Mhm.
case, we have a year, we have a month, and we have a day. Like this, we have a partition.
Sir, I'm using my means in my organization partition by for removing the user means duplicate or something like that.
That is different.
Okay. Okay.
Partition by, we have seen, right, how we can with Windows function, using with Windows function is different.
Okay.
This is different. This is while writing the data into the target.
Okay. Okay. I thought that it's
No,
concept like same like that.
no,
Okay.
not like that. That is different. That is correct. To remove the duplicates, you are going to do data partition by your
Row
with
number.
window functions. With window
Yes.
functions.
Yes.
Okay, so that we discussed it. This is nowhere for data processing.
Okay.
Okay, so after doing a data processing, once you at the time of loading, you're going to use data frame dot write dot format, right?
Yes.
There you're going to use this partition by.
Okay.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
generally partition, why we are going to do the table partition is to improve the reading performance. As simple as that.
Okay.
So this is there in a SQL Server. This is there in Oracle. Even for a SQL Server also, we have a similar kind of uh, I mean to say similar kind of approach. The context is same. That is what I'm saying here. Partition by is used when writing the data, not at the time of doing a processing, not at the time of data transformation. Okay, when writing the data, you're going to do this. To physically split data into folders, the data is going to be split into multiple folders. As I said, you're going to have a December is one folder. Month wise, you can do partition. If you do the day wise, then every day one folder will be created. Okay, every day one folder will be created. So this partition by, you can do it in a single column or you can do it in a multiple columns. If you need only year wise partition, then it is a single column. And if it is for multiple columns, in my case, we use the three columns: year, month, day. Okay, so in that case, you have to use the three columns. Okay, so simply we are going to divide multiple partitions. On what basis we are going to do is 99% we are going to use a date column only. Okay, we are going to see that. So I explained already this why partitions are important. If you have a data, volumes are very huge. If the volume of the data is millions of records, then you can, we always recommend to have a partition. Okay, so in my previous project, we have done this for most of the tables. Okay, for most of the tables, we did it because we have a framework and we use the framework. If you're already having a framework, automatically we are going to follow in the same approach. And users usually, basically, we are the reporting team are going to filter the data, right? In that case, we are going to use this partition by. So example I have given here, last month sales, if you wanted to get it, or a region equal to west. When they're applying a filter based on the region, then we can create a we can create a partition on it. If you go without partitioning, then it is going to read the data from all the files. So it Spark scans the entire data set. Slow queries, high compute cost, because we have to, what we can say, we have to spend a lot of time, right, for reading. So automatically the Spark is going to be little more cost for your compute. So if reading is taking 10 minutes without partition, and if you go with partition, if it is reading by 1 minute, then without partitioning you're paying for 9 minutes, because we are having a pay as you go. Okay, so this kind of thing we can call it as a partition pruning. Okay, so we'll see that. Now I just wanted to show you how we can do without partition, and with partition how exactly it is going to read it. I wanted to show you. I wanted to check my data here. I'm already having some sample data. Let me take that. Just give me a minute. I'm just getting my file somewhere I kept it. Okay, I'm having it now. Let me create a directory here. Source. Inside source, I'm just going to upload this file. So I wanted to see what is there inside that file. I wanted to read the data from that particular file. Okay, so to read the data from that file, first we need to have a connectivity, right? If you remember at the time of explaining our Databricks project, I have shown you how we can create a external location. To create external location, you need to have a external credentials, or let's say credentials.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so create a credentials first, and you can use the existing credentials as we already created. And external location also you can use. Okay, so or you can create it if you wanted to have a different location. So I'm already having that. I'm just going to have a location is this one. This is my container name and this is my storage account. So I wanted to see what is there inside this dbutils dot source file path. Just run it. Some spelling mistake it is. You're having all the folders here. I'm just going to have the folder name is source. There is only one file, or you can directly take this path of the file. Okay, so I'm just taking this file name. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is, we know already, we can specify the source file path. And whatever the data is there inside that file, based on that, I had just created this schema. And if you see that file, let me open it. You can see it. I have a order ID, order date, region, product, and amount. So I'm having a data here. So I'm going to use the same data. I'm going to use the same data. And I wanted to do some changes here. I'm just taking few months data here. That is more enough. Let me take a 4 here. so that you can feel that that is having let me take this is 2 and this is 4. That's more enough. So 2 years data I have taken. Let me save this file and re-upload this file into this account. I'll override it. Okay, so based on this, I have created a schema. You know that how we can specify this variable and how we can specify the schema. And I'm just doing it what you're reading the data, spark.read.format. We are taking the CSV because it is a CSV file. My file is having the header, so I'm just saying my option header is true. And then I'm passing the schema and I'm passing this path of the file, right? And I'm just displaying for display purpose. Everyone is aware of how we can create this data frame. Is there anyone who is not aware of it?
Yes,
We're all aware of it, right? Now, I'm just going to hit on it. Okay, the problem is with the date format. My bad. Let me download again. Just giving orders. Let me upload this file also. Now let me run again. Okay, so we have to change carefully, then only it is going to be possible. Okay, so I'll tell you again. I'll change that later. Now we read the data from the file. So up to here is everyone is aware of it. So once you have done your transformations, whatever the transformations you required, after completion of your transformations, then you have to write the data into the target. While writing the data into the target, how we are going to write it, I wanted to show you. Okay. Without partition by, I'm just going to load it. This is how even we loaded the data previously. Okay, so let me keep my target file path. Let me take this. This is target I wanted to take and orders. Okay, so in this path, at this point of time, I don't have a target folder here. So once this is loaded, once this statement is executed, it is going to write the data into the target. As a file, I'm just going to write the data into the target. We can see the path, target file path. And I'm taking the format as a delta format. I'm just taking a format as a delta format. And overwrite mode is overwrite. We have two modes basically we are going to use. One is overwrite and other is append. Most of the time we are going to use the append. Let it be overwrite here. And then I'm just going to write this data into this particular folder, and it is going to have a part file inside this folder. Just observe. Let me write it. Now data is written. Then if you come here, refresh it, and you can see target. Inside target you have orders. Inside orders you have a part file. All the data is there in a single file. Because we have a less than 256 MB we are having, so because of that reason it is getting it into single file. That is fine. Now when you read the data from this particular folder, it is going to read the data from the entire file. From the entire file it is going to read it. Okay, so it is going to scan the entire thing. Now let me read the data. How we are going to read is, let me take this folder, copy this. Okay, so from this target file path, I'm just going to read it. I'm sorry. Again, if you come to here, you have a one file. Now, if you apply partition, then how it is going to be there, we'll see. So reading also I'm going to show you when you read the data from this folder, what happens. And when you read the data from this particular folder, how it is going to read, we are going to see that. Okay, just give me 1 minute. I'll take my tea. Okay, so now we have a data inside this. Now what happens is I wanted to read the data from there. When it is trying to read the data from there, it has to scan everything because the data is mixed together. Data is mixed together, because of that reason you have to read it. but I don't want to read all the data. I wanted to read the data where region equal to south. We already know about this filter. Okay, so let me take out this. Now let me run it. So it is reading all the data. I don't have any problem with this. But if I run it, I wanted to read the data for only region south. Then let me hit on it. This is not showing all the details. Basically, if we go with this edition, free edition, the only problem is I cannot show tables here. Okay, let me run the same thing with the free edition also. Okay, so I'm just going to run this. The file is already available. So here I don't need to create a cluster. The only thing is you cannot see the table. That is the reason I just took this catalog. So one option I wanted to show with this free edition. So I'm able to see the data here. Let me write it. I'm just overwriting this data into the target. And then when you read the data with region equal to south, if you see this performance option is not available. Maybe they may include it later. Not sure how much time they may take it. But here I'm having that feasibility. So I just wanted to take you through this. When you hit on it, it will show the details here. Optimizing query, it is 100%. And how many files it is reading, it is going to show you. Somewhere I can see that files read is fine 1. Okay, so that is fine. Here it is reading all the data from the file, even if we say region equal to south. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'm going to this file data, I can show it in the target, but when it goes for a table, when you create a table, then how exactly it is going to be there, that you cannot see it here. Now the same thing I'm just trying to do it here with partition, the same to same, no change when you write the data. Now this time I'm taking a partition by region. Same format, same thing, I'm just doing it. The only thing additionally it is added is partition by column. Partition by region I wanted to create it. Okay, so let me take my folder up to here. To show the folder structure, I wanted to go with this. Folder name sales will be created, and inside the cells we are going to have a region equals to something like that. It is going to have it. The format of the file is delta. Let me run this. Same data frame I'm taking. Now what happens if we go and see here is in the target, you can find there is a sales folder. Inside sales folder, you can see how the partitions are created. I did not say 3 partitions. Automatically, it depends on the values of the region, it is creating a partitions. So 3 partitions are created. Now, when I read the data from where filter equal to, if I say south, it will not read the data from here. It will not read the data from here. It will not read the data from here. It reads data from only this partition. So just imagine each partition it is taking 2 minutes. So total 6 minutes previously. Now, if you done this one, if you read the data from this partition file, then it is going to take only 2 minutes. Your cost is going to change. Your performance also will be improved. Do you agree with me? Please respond.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So when I say where a filter, I mean, whatever the filter that we applied previously, the same thing I'm just going to do it here. Okay. I'm going to read the data from there. Let me say, let me take this path. So I wanted to read the data from all the from this folder. I'm applying the filter where region equal to south. You may think that by seeing this statement, it reads the data from all this folder, and then it is going to read the data from this south. No. It is going to push down whatever the logic is there here. This filters is going to be executed while reading the data. While reading the data itself is going to be pushed. Okay, so it ignores the files which are not related to region equal to south. Now let me run this. So here, unfortunately, I'm not having a feasibility to show this performance option. Let me come to here. The same to same here, I'm doing it. When I start reading data from there, this one not executed. Now let me read it. You can see. Now if you see this performance, open it. Okay, so many options they have provided. Even I'm new for all these things because this is not available previously. They made it much more simpler to do it. Files read. One file. Files pruned. Pruned means what? Ignored. Files read is only one file. How many files are ignored? 2 files are ignored because 3 partitions are the total. Okay, so inside these files, inside one partition, you have inside one folder, you have only one partition. So it is going to read the data from only appropriate file only. It will not read the data from all the places. Okay, so this is how the data is going to be there in the source. I mean, once you write the data here, when you're reading the data, then it is going to read the data from that particular place only. So that is going to improve the performance. So how this pruning is going to work is when the table is having a partition, when you read the data from the file, it is going to read the data from the appropriate partition. Okay, you can see here. skips the east and south folders because you have taken no. It skips east and north, right? Let me see. West and east. It's a subject to correction. Okay, so this is how the partition is going to improve the performance, is because it reads the data from the appropriate file. The most of the times we are going to use, most commonly we are going to use the partition based on the date parts. Simple. By using the date parts, we are going to do it. For this one, okay, I wanted to write the data into the target. The problem is I'm having this data is not properly having it. I'll tell you how we can change the data in the source. I'll change only year. That is better. I'm weak in Excel. Replace all. This I'll take 2025. Okay, this is more enough. Let me upload this file again into my source. Upload. Okay, new sales. And I need a source file path also, because I'm having the changes in the file. So I have to recreate this data frame. Let me rerun it. That is more enough. What happened? If I change that, it is moving off. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll take this one back again, this entire thing. before doing this, I wanted to do something here. I wanted to change my data type to the date. Let's see. So this is coming as a date column. Or to change this column to the date format. To change this to date format, what I'll do is I'm just going to, I think DDYY format it is. Let's see. Orders underscore df dot with column order underscore date. I'm just giving order a date, a different column name, comma, to underscore date, order date. I'm just taking, and then you can give a format here. Let's say dot show. Let's try. So toDate is available in a Spark SQL function from pyspark.sql.functions import star. There is the cancel here. Reject. Let me run it. Okay, so this format I'm having, so I'm just going to take this format, accept and run. Okay, this is perfectly all right. So this format is there. So because of that reason, I'm just taking this format to convert into date format. So what I'll do is here itself, I'm just going to add a column with column with column. I'm going to take the same column name, order date. I'm not going to change the column name so that it is going to replace it. Then double quote, comma, then to underscore date, order date, comma, DDYY format. Let's close this. Now we can set display of orders df. There should not be a space after this slash. Let me run it now. Now consider date type here. So we can deal with the dates by using the date functions from SQL module. You have to take the SQL module and then you can use the date functions accordingly. Now I have a data frame with the date column with the different years are there. Okay, so I wanted to create a partition based on the year. So here what I'm trying to do is, so since I already taken this import statement here, I don't need to import it again. You can just take out it. Here I'm creating one more new column with the order df. I can also create this same columns here itself, but let me create a separately to avoid the confusion. So I'm taking a new data frame name, new orders underscore df. On top of this order underscore df, I'm creating a new column. I wanted to create a year of order date, month of order date. Okay, so and then I'm just taking the required columns here. Let me take out this first and show you. Dot show. You're having year column, month column. But I wanted to keep these columns in the starting. So because of that reason, I'm using a select statement here. You can see select year, month column, order ID, order date, reason, and so on. Okay, so now in this, I just wanted to display. You can see dot show. The order is going to be in a right order. You can see year equal to 2024 is there, 2025 is there. Okay, and 2023 is also there. Only few records it is showing. Okay, that is fine. Now I wanted to write the data into the target. To write the data into the target, I'm taking a new data frame dot write dot format delta overwrite. Partition by is not in a single column now. Previously I've taken a single column, that is a reason. Now if I wanted to create with the multiple columns, then you can just give a comma separator only. There is nothing difference. There is nothing difference. We are just going to have a comma separator. Let me run this. So it is going to create a one more new folder, that is new sales folder is going to be created once I run this. Just run it. Now if you go and refresh this, target, new sales folder, now you can see here equal to 2023, 2024 and 2025. 3 partitions are created. Okay, now I wanted to read the data from this particular place. To read it,
The month is where partition by year and month. So inside year, month is also, I think, should be there.
of course,
Yeah. Only 1 month. Okay, might be
because
1 month.
we have a data for 1 month only.
Oh, yes, 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 get
Okay,
it.
yeah. So just try to adjust this data and then you can get it. The way I did it for year, I did it, and you can try for month.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and then you will get multiple things. Now, I wanted to read the data from year 2020. Since I'm having, okay, my bad, that is fine. Because we have only 1 month data only in all the partitions. What can we do? This is the orders file only, right? Okay, so I'll just give a clue and you can try from your side. I don't want to spend time here. Let me read the data from one of the partition. Let me take a new sales. From this folder, I wanted to read it. Okay, if I don't apply the filter, then it is going to take all the data. Okay, it is going to take all the data. But if I apply a filter, then it is going to take the data for that particular place only. Now, what I wanted to do is I wanted to take the data for year 2023. Year 2023. Let me run it. Now I can see the data for only 2023. If I have a partition only on year column, if I have a partition only in year column, how many files it is going to read? I mean, in this particular situation, if I say year equal to 2023 means it reads the data from this folder. Whatever the number of months, if there is a 6 months data, 6 months it is going to read it. If you have a 12 months data, 12 months data is going to read, because your filter is based on the year equal to 2023. Now, if I have a filter, one more filter condition here, just imagine. Let's say or I can say here itself, and year equals to, sorry, month equals to 01 or 1. Now what happens is, within the year, there are 12 files will be there. Out of this 12 files, it is going to read only one file, because month equals to 1. It will go to that particular partition and it is going to read the data from there only. If you have a partition on these two columns, if you don't have a partition with the month, if you don't have a partition with the month, I have a partition on only year column. So always it is going to read from the 12 files, I mean 12 folders. Okay, so since we are having a partition on the month level, automatically it is going to read the data from that particular place only. So definitely we are going to have a multiple columns. That too, we are going to use, most of the times we are going to use with the date columns only. Okay, and this is not a good practice, like having too many partitions also is very dangerous. Okay, so creating a partition based on the year, based on the month is fine. Even day also people will go. In my project, we went for day also. Okay, but if you have a order ID, creating a partition with the order ID is very dangerous. So too many partitions are going to have it. And that's not going to help us, and creates millions of folders, because millions of orders we will be having it. We're always going to create a partition with this 3 columns mostly in the market. Okay, so using high cardinality columns are not recommended. Using the low cardinality columns like year, quarter, month, something like that, we can go for that. Okay, so do not create a partitions with these columns, customer ID, email, order ID, something like that. But creating a partitions is with the date columns and region, country. So you need to have some set of records in the particular group. So then only it is going to be recommended to do it. You got my point, right? How partition by is going to help you to read the data faster. Any question as of now?
Only one thing. If by mistake we write like that partition by month and then year, it will understand.
You should not do by mistake.
Yeah.
I did not try keeping them in a reverse order. You can keep it. In 1 month, you can have a multiple years also.
Yes.
It will work. Okay, but basically we are going to do it from top to bottom. But it will allow to even reverse if you reverse it. Okay.
Yes.
This is one thing, and other thing is, and repartition by, right? So repartition basically it is going to be used at the time of processing. The difference between this partition by and repartition is, repartition will be used at the time of data processing. If you remember, how we can increase the number of partitions or decrease the number of partitions. But this partition by will be used at the time of writing, whereas repartition will be used at the time of data processing. So that is the difference between them. The next is Z-order. So if you understand this partition by, then understanding Z-order is also is very simple. Okay, so we are going to do little further down of your partition. The Z-order is a delta lake optimization technique. This is going to be available only with the delta lake. You cannot do without without catalog. Okay, so that typically recognizes data inside the files that are related. Values are stored close together. When you show practically, then you can understand this. Okay, so when we have a customer, I wanted to create a partition on the customer ID. I wanted to create a partition on the customer ID. Then definitely, if you go and create a partition with the customer ID, then too many customers will be having and too many partitions files will be there. So to avoid that, we can take a first 100 customers into one partition, 100 to 200 is another partition, 101 to 200 is another partition, something like this we can create it. So if you wanted to create that kind of partitions, we are going to use the Z-order. Okay, so even after partitioning, Spark may still scan many files inside the partition. For example, I have applied a partition based on the year. Based on the year for customer table, just imagine. So within the year, you have too many customers are there. You have to read the entire thing, then only you can improve the performance. But if we can make them further down, then if I have let's say for example, customer ID 150, I wanted to get it. Then I don't need to read this partition. I'm going to read only this partition only. So in that case, it improves the performance again. So that is what I'm saying. When we need to use this Z ordering is, even after partitioning, Spark may still scan many files inside the partition. Here we have a less volume of data. We're able to see only one part file. But when you have a more volume of data, you'll be having multiple part files. Okay, so that you can experience only in the real time. Okay, so without Z-order, Spark scans all the files in that year. Let's say I wanted to get year 2023. I wanted to read the data from 2023. Then what happens? It is going to read multiple files from that particular year. With Z-order, what happens is Spark scans only files that contains that customer specific ID. As I said, within the range, it is going to read the data from there. Okay, so I wanted to change my path. Is my cluster stopped? Okay, it is available. So I'm just reading the data from there. But let me take this code and hit this path. Let's take this entire thing. Let me run it. Okay. So we have to import that. Now, every time you're writing this one, right? This is also a problem. Okay, so what we can do is we can create one separate notebook. Create notebook. Common notebook, I'm just giving the name. Import, sorry, from PySpark .sql.functions import star. Okay, so this one I wanted to take it. So if that is the case, what you can do is you can take this copy of this notebook, full path, go to your Z-order. The starting of every notebook, basically, we are going to keep this percentage run. Let me run it. So how we can run a notebook from another notebook is, this is how we are going to run it. If I run this one now, here I don't need to use this import again and reject this. Now this will be executed because this one is already done. The common notebook, whatever the imports are there, whatever the common things are there, you can keep inside that common notebook. The very first steps we are going to import, we are going to run the common notebooks, whatever the common notebooks we are having it. Is everyone clear? How we can run a notebook from another notebook is by using percentage run. This is the magic command. We already know that. Magic
Yeah.
SQL we have seen. Magic MD. Magic run. Magic R is there. And Python is there. Okay. To write the code, we are going to use this magic commands. To run the notebook, we are going to use the percentage run. Now I'm able to read the data. I'm having it. In the next step, I'm just going to write the data into the target. But this time, let's see how I'm going to write the data. Okay, so I'm just trying to see in this one. Let me take my path. Let me take out this. So inside the target, I'm going to have a fact cells. The same year column I'm taking from the order date. Month column I'm taking from same order date. I'm just writing it. Let me display the data, how data is getting displayed. You can see. '23, '24, and '25 data is available here. Now I wanted to write the data into the target. This is going to be file format. Okay, so let me. Okay, then I have a Unity catalog here. Okay, so if I write this with this file, there is no much difference. You can find it here because we are just using the partition by. And here is also partition by. Let me create as a table so that you can see little more in detail. Let me run this first. It is going to create a folder inside this. This is not required if I'm correct. Let me write the data into the target with delta overwrite partition by. Let me take my catalog here. Inside this catalog, I'm having a test schema. Okay, so let me take a test schema. Okay, we'll do it with the branch. Okay, so inside the branch, I don't have a fact cell. That is fine because I can show this where exactly the file is located. Dev underscore branch and fact cells. Let me run this. Let me duplicate this file. Let me go to the containers, Unity Catalog 1, Project 1. So I have a branch schema. In the branch, I don't have a fact underscore sales that I'm just going to get it from here if I run it. So new order sales is available. Let me take out this. This one also is not required. I mean, this part is not required. Now I have a data inside this new orders data frame, and that new orders data frame I'm using to write the data into the target. So I'm just taking Unity catalog, dev underscore branch, and fact sales. Okay, so if you wanted to create a folder for this, then you can also specify the path of the folder. Let it be. Let me run this. Now if you refresh it, dev underscore branch, where is this table?
The fact sales is there. Fact sales.
Is there? I'm not able to see.
Like
Yeah,
after
here it is.
channel. Yeah.
Yeah, here it is. Now let me open in Catalog Explorer.
It should be external. No, and managed by.
Details are there here, and it is there inside this storage location. If we can give a path, then it will take a path. Let it be. I'm just going inside this. Where is that? The second one. Underscore this. Schemas. Tables. Here it is having it. Year equal to 2023, 2024, and 2025. Month equal to 01. Because I'm not giving a path. If we can give a path, then it is going to give a wherever it is required to store that in that particular place it is going to write it. That is fine. Now we have a partition wise data. Within this partition you may have a too many customers, millions of customers in month 1 also. Just imagine millions of customers are there. In that case, if you wanted to improve the performance, then what happens is let me run this here. Sorry, I have to take this schema. Select star from table. This is not having a Z order. This is not having a Z order. Now, what I'll do is I'm going to create a Z order, optimize my table name with Z order with customer with order ID. I'm taking it. Let me run this. Okay, let me go here, duplicate this tab. Project 1, catalogs, tables. So here I'm not able to show the folders how that is aligned, but once you have applied this, it is going to order the data. There may be some details, you can just spend some time on it. But what happens is when you read the data from there, select star from table name where I wanted to take this particular condition. Year equal to 2023. For year, I don't have a problem because there is a partition. It will go for 2023 data. And within the year 2023 data, you have a 12 months. Let's say, for example, I have only 1 month. Within the month, you may have a multiple orders. I wanted to take only order 50. I wanted to take only order 50. Let me run it. So it is going to read the data from that particular range of the data. That range I'm not able to show you here. Even that is what I faced an issue. Here there is only one part file under year equal to 2023. But when it comes to here, it is rearranged. Okay, the same thing I'm just going to run and show it here with the latest version of this. I think this will not work here. Let me check. I'm just running it.
Z-order by is work like clustering, right, in SQL Server?
Exactly. Cluster index is there, right, in SQL Server. You're right. Within the partition, it will be having a cluster. Let me run this also. Now this is without Z ordering. I'm just going to read it. Hundred rows read and 100 rows returned. I don't have a partition if I'm correct here. Yeah, here it is having a partition. Files read is 1, files pruned is 0, partition read. Because you're not applying a filter, so it is taking that. That is fine. Now I'm just going to make this. Let me take this query. Let me run this now. File thread is 1 and partition is, because inside the year you are having one partition, so that is fine. Now I'm going to make this as a Z-order. Optimize your table name. Remember this command. Optimize table name Z-order by, you have to give the column. Now if I run the same query again, what happens, you just observe. Let's see. I don't know how it is going to be understand. Okay, but the intention of this is going to be, let's take an example I have given here. For example, before that order, you have a file 1, file 2, and file 3. Just imagine all these are the partition files, part files. Order ID 1012 110 in one file, 1052 220 is another file, and 182. Something like this we are having it. 101, 150, 203. It's randomly it is available without Z-order. After Z-order, what happens is these are all going to be rearranged. These files will be rearranged in this way. File 1, 101 to 110 is one file. File 2, 111 to 150 is another file. And file 3, 151 to 200 is another file. Okay, so something like that, it is going to be ordered. So this file is one partition file. You just imagine. The partition is based on the year we have created it. Year 2023, just imagine. The second file is year 2024 you're having. Okay, so something like this, you have a partitions, right? Inside the year, you have a multiple files you will be having it. File 1, file 2, file 3, file 4, something like that. Now, if I wanted to read a specific customer, then it has to read the entire data, because this 2023 is having your customer ID is 150. 150 customer ID is available in the partition year 2023. So it has to read the entire this partition. Within this partition, you just imagine 1 million records are there. Out of 1 million, you have to take only customer ID is 150. So instead of reading that entire 1 million, you are going to read appropriate range of the file. So that will be arranged by itself internally. Okay, so 150 is available in this range. It will ignore all the files except this range. So it will think this is 150. So 150 is having a Z-order. So we can go for that particular range and it's going to read it, because data is clustered here. Okay, you got my point, right?
So this is also for writing time or only processing
Reading
time?
only, not processing. Reading only.
Reading. Okay.
Z-order also for reading only. For downstream systems, because you are keeping millions of records, your millions of records you are not keeping in one day. You are appending on every day, right? Every day,
Yeah.
thousands of records you are going to append. One fine day, there will be millions records. So in that case, the downstream systems faces a problem to read the data from the tables. Okay, so for that reason, for giving a better performance for the downstream systems, we are going to use partition by and Z-order. So definitely in the interview, they're going to ask these two questions. Okay?
Sir, I
Yes,
have
sir.
one question.
Yeah.
Sir, within partition, if the files are rearranged, so should we say that shuffling or it is not shuffling?
Shuffling, it is going to rearrange this data. So shuffling means what? The data, we are not doing a transformation, right?
So we cannot say it is shuffling.
No. Okay, so while writing the data, we can use partition. So when the moment when it is writing the data, okay, so what happens is when you're writing the data into the table, if it is having a partition, so let's say 2026 is coming. This is not available. Automatically, it will create a one folder for it. Okay, so at the time of writing the data into that, it is going to arrange that. But Z-order, how it is going to write the data, I cannot give a guarantee because I'm not able to see how this data arranged. It is not showing the data here. You're getting my point, right? Somewhere it is showing this one, but it is not giving the details. This one. It is just giving a folder name, but how data is arranged, it is not showing. Just spend some time, then you may get and understand.
The liquid clustering also same like this.
Which one? Which one?
They are asking liquid clustering and bucketing. This type things also they are asking.
Bucketing also, there is a chances to ask. Okay, so maybe in the next time I'll talk about this bucketing. Okay, in my case, we used only partition by. We never come across this Z-order, but in interview, definitely they're going to ask. So if you can explain the theoretically, that is more enough. Because there is nothing to do it here.
Yes.
Just one command only. Okay.
Yes,
Any other questions you people faced while attempting?
yeah, normalization. They ask about what are you doing in normalization?
Normalization is a SQL side, or did they ask
Here in
in SQL?
Databricks.
Databricks normalization.
Yes.
I don't know the normalization in Databricks. Basically, normalization is like having multiple tables. Basically, we are going to do denormalization in our goal layer.
Mm.
Okay,
Okay.
so you have to ask them.
Normalization is saying like it is star schema or normal. There is no concept of Databricks normalization.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Sir, they asked like me on if pipeline failure, how you will deal with that in case of pipeline failure, and if you rerun, how it will be like started from the point of failure. So, like in SSIs, we have a checkpoint concept. So,
Here
is there
also,
any?
we have a pipeline rerun, right? If you remember that. Is data factory opened with me? I just closed it.
Yeah, one place I saw in copy data itself, if we see
That
below
is
one icon
retry.
is there.
Retry is there. Retry is there.
Mhm.
But apart from retry, there is a what I can say. We are going to have a rerun option in the monitoring from Databricks,
Yeah.
from data factory monitoring. If it is failed any job, from there you can rerun. Rerun from failure option will be there.
So it will rerun from the point of failure.
Yes. So here in this one, when it is failed, when you hit on it, it will ask you in the drop down Run from beginning, run from failure.
Okay.
Okay, so that is how we are going to do it here. That is one way, and other way is if you have a control table, okay, if, for every time whatever the task is completed, if it is updating in control table, then even if you rerun from the beginning, it will take the status from the control table and it is going to start from there. This kind of control also you can do it. If you don't want to run from failure from here. So data factory itself is giving an option, so you don't need to go for your approach. Yeah.
Yes.
Any other question?
Only this time I can remember only liquid crystal they asked.
Liquid cluster. Let's. I'll check that. Okay, we'll see that. That's a new concept, if I'm correct. Okay, so
Yes, sir.
new
As per
feature.
my understanding, sir, G-order and optimize the alternative is liquid clustering. So you
Okay.
can explain it better way. But
Okay.
I study in this YouTube. This is
Okay.
the alternative of that. This
We'll
is
see
new
that.
concept. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see that.
Yeah, when they are saying like data skewing happening, then we use. And
Yeah.
they, and
In that case only, basically data skewing is going to be happen at the time of data processing. Basically, one partition is having more volume of data and other partition is having less volume of data. So when you have this kind of imbalanced data, then we can use the repartition to share the data across the nodes evenly.
yes, data processing means when we are moving data from one place to
Yes.
another place. Like,
No, data transformation side. Data skewing is coming at the time of data transformation. Because you will be having a less RAM, right? You have to process the data within the RAM. So that time we will get all these problems.
So data transformation time.
Yes.
So what is
Before
data
writing.
processing then?
Before
What
writing,
is-
whatever you're doing, that is data transformation, right? Before writing.
Yeah, okay.
You're applying a filter, you're creating a column, doing aggregations, joins. All these things happened in a RAM.
Yes. So sorry, sir, but when what is processing?
Processing means transformation only, man.
Okay, transfer only. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
So here, before writing, where is
Mm-hmm.
that? Okay, somewhere here. Before this write command, whatever you do, that is transformations.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other questions?
Sir, incremental load generally in the silver layer, right? In bronze layer, we are not doing the incremental. It is always the full load, right?
No, bronze layer also can do incremental loading. You have to do the same kind of approach. You have to create a notebook to read the data for incrementally. The way we did for data factory, you have to write a SQL code.
Yes, sir. So in our project, first project, we are taking data in landing. In landing time, incremental is required when we are taking data from SQL Server to landing.
Can you repeat again? I lost it.
So when we are taking data from SQL Server to landing, so there we need incremental or full data we
Incremental load is required, full load. Only two loads will be there in our entire journey. One is incremental load and other is full load. Full load will be very less tables. If you have hundreds of records, then you can go for full load. Thousands of records also can go for full load. But if you have more than that, we recommend to go with incremental loading.
So, sir, okay, already you explained the date column we can take for doing incremental from SQL Server to landing.
Yes.
But if date column is not there, we are not getting any sub CDC approaches there.
If there is no date,
Yeah.
we cannot apply incremental loading. Generally.
So this is the question they asked.
Yeah.
If you do not have primary key.
If you don't have two things we require. First is date column, high priority, and market standard is date column. If you don't have a date column, then primary key. If you don't have these two, then you have to go for CDC. So CDC, that is not the best practice basically. Okay, so when you have a more volume of data, if any table is having more volume of data, 99.99% they're going to create a date column. That is true. But interview point of view, they're going to ask, how can you do this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we have to use, I can say if it is a SQL server, there is a, I forgot that naming standard, checksum function is there. Just search for checksum function. Using that, we can take the data from the source system. That is one way. Another way is in data factory itself, there is a CDC preview is there. CDC something that naming standard. Yeah, change data capture.
They capture data.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can use. You just try for this one.
Yes, sir. But this also I saw one video. Using this, we need to apply the things on source table.
Yeah,
So
that is what. Because
source.
of that reason, they don't give a chance to do all those changes.
Yeah, that is the thing because we cannot touch source thing.
So in that case, you have to read the data, all the data from the source.
Yeah. Some two option. One place they are saying two things are transient and persistent. They are explaining like this. In transient we take full, persistent we take incremental something. I didn't understand properly, but two words are
That is
there.
completely SQL side only, if that is the case.
Okay.
Not from our ETL side.
Any concept of hashing, like I saw somewhere, like
ASCII, you're saying?
like hash key to achieve this.
That's what I'm saying. Checksum is going to create a hash key. So using that, we can bring it. But any cost, you
Okay.
have to read all the data.
Okay.
Okay, then we have to compare. We have to read the data from the source side and target side, and then we are going to compare them. Is checksum value is same, then the data is already existed, same record is available. If it is different, then you are going to take it.
It's nowadays like DBA always asking for the primary key, otherwise they are not allowing the table creation. So
Yeah,
but
definitely. There will be restrictions. This is for interview point of view only, they are going to ask you. Okay, so we are going to have certain rules and regulations. If you keep millions of records and without date key, without date column, then you cannot implement incremental loading.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we can say that in my case, I did not come across it. We used to have a date column. So if you have a date column, then only we can do incremental loading. If not, we have to check for other options like checksum or with hash key. Okay.
I have like a final round pending in one of the MNC, so
Oh,
I will
great.
update next time.
Yeah, good.
The first round was very good, and they postponed my final round. I will think whether I move or not, but yeah, for the interview perspective for selection, it feel good, right?
Yeah, definitely. If you can do regular practice, whatever I did, mostly you can do it. Okay, so I'm going to take, I'm planning for every weekend. Let's see. I wanted to talk something on every week. So next week I'm going to resume our Microsoft Fabric notebooks pending is there, right? That I'll take in the next week.
Really thank you, sir. I think partition by helped me.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
in some interview, I said simply partition by we don't do.
And you have
That's
completed the streaming part, na? I appeared for the KPMG, and
Okay.
they started that streaming, and I did not answer it properly. I said autoloader, but I did not explain it properly. But
Okay.
after your class, I was more confident now. But if they ask the same question, I will able to answer it properly now.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Not everyone, whoever is attempting an interview, not all the interview questions. If we can share, then the audience will get some benefit from the group.
Yes, I will share all the questions.
Yeah. Okay, then I'm stopping here. We'll see in the next weekend.
Yes, sir. If possible, upload video.
Yeah. I'll upload it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.